What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. And in today's video, I'm going to be installing some intakes into your S55. It also works with the M4s, M3s, and M2 competitions if it comes with the S55 motor. This is an absolutely gorgeous intake, but not only will it look better, it will sound better and perform better. So this is a must-cop item for your S55. Definitely a mod you guys should consider. For those of you guys who are wondering how to install it, it's actually really easy. You can obviously do it with a little bit of finesse, but I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the proper way of doing it that just makes it a lot easier. So we're gonna go ahead and remove this carbon fiber strut brace. So first things first, go ahead and pop up on that plastic tab and pop this piece upwards. Now that we have this piece removed, you can go ahead and just pretty much take this piece right on out. As easy as that. We're gonna do the same thing on this side. Now, if you have a plastic pry piece, it'll make this job so much easier. I'm just using a flathead, but it just comes to show you can use anything to get this thing out. So yeah, so once you get that tab out, this whole thing just comes out super easily. Now, what I like to do next is pretty much just take out this wire that's pretty much feeded all around. This is just pretty much a weather stripping that I believe you can just pull out just like that. Just get this out of the way. And at this point, we did fully expose the carbon fiber struts. We have 1, 2, 3 screws there. We do have another one right over here. Don't forget about that. That actually mounts the coolant tank to it. We have one over here, and then obviously the 3 back here as well. Same with the other side. Now we have these two 13 millimeters. 1, 2. And last of all, this is a 10 millimeter. At this point, guys, the whole carbon strut should just come right on out, just like that. So the first thing you're gonna have to do is just pretty much disconnect this sensor. There's like one clip right up here. Just press on that clip. And once this piece comes out, you can just pretty much tuck it away. And now to get out the intake box, you just have to loosen up that flathead right there. And you don't have to take it out completely. Just loosen it up to the point where this boot just pops out. And now this entire intake should just come out. And to remove this intake inlet part, you just have to take out, I believe that's also a 10 millimeter. Once you get that bolt out, this whole thing should just come up pretty easily. So yeah, now that we removed the V-brace and that intake, we have one more intake to remove, and then we're gonna go ahead and transfer over the sensors before we put in the 2 new intakes. So first things first, we're gonna go ahead and loosen that up. I believe that is a 6 millimeter. And we can go ahead and disconnect this as well. Just push down on it, and this thing should be free. We can actually pull up on this hose as well. Make sure if your hose is brittle, make sure to not do this when your car is hot, or you will have coolant splashing all over your face. So better safe than sorry, do it when your car is cool. Go ahead and loosen that up. You just pretty much pry up on this tab, push off this hose, and that one's super easy as well. And the last thing is, just go ahead and press down on this clip, and then pull up on the sensor just like that. Now, I'm pretty sure all you have to do is pretty much pry up on the intake, and this whole thing should just come out. What I like to do is just disconnect it from here first, just to make sure this isn't connected as you're yanking on it. Now that that's disconnected, this should pretty much just come right on out. So what we are gonna need are the sensors on each one of those intakes. What we don't need is the screws. So go ahead and take out those screws and put them back into these intakes, just in case you need to go back for any reason at all back to stock. But yeah, take out the sensor and use the new screws that come in with your new intakes. And now we're just gonna go ahead and put back the 2 screws, just so, again, so we don't lose them. Let's do the same thing to the second sensor. Put back the screws. And now it's time to just mount the new sensors, guys. Now this is gonna be a tight fit, so what you have to do is just put in both screws and tighten it in little by little on each side, so the sensor's all the way seated. Same thing with the other side. We do want the bottom of the box, so we need to go ahead and remove all the screws right here and use the bottom of both boxes, mainly because it directs air right into the intake, and that's just perfect, and it'll just help the intake stay cooler. Second thing we're gonna have to go ahead and reuse is this bottom portion right here. This top portion, we're gonna go ahead and just disconnect this, separate it with this clamp right here. Loosen up this clamp, disconnect the top half, And we just need this portion right here. We're gonna go ahead and reconnect this to the car right now. Bada bing, bada bang, and then you just tighten in that one screw just to keep it in place. Now, before actually putting in the intake, let's go ahead and put the original half of the intake boxes back in there. All you have to do that, just take out these bolts right here, and this top half should come off. We don't need the intake side since we have the new intakes. We just need the box. And now we're just gonna put the box down how it originally was. Now that we have the box in there, let's go ahead and put in the new intake. So a mistake I did is that I actually put the intake on the wrong side, put the intake next to the sensor and the boot on the opposite direction, so then the actual sensor will be facing the cable. Because right now I have it in the opposite direction, it's not reaching, it's supposed to sit something like this. So this is how it's supposed to be. Sensor next to the intake and the longer side next to the rubber hose. So now we can go ahead and just install it and make sure don't forget that clamp down there. And once you have it in there, you can go ahead and just connect the sensor, and we're going to do the exact same thing to this side. Put in the box first, then put in the intake. Just like that. And then as for the intake, we're going to go ahead and just push it inside the hose first, and then just set it down. Now before tightening anything, we do need to go ahead and remove this screw because we're going to put the intake right on top of it, then screw it back in. Now that we have this mounted, we can go ahead and just reconnect the sensor. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just feed the sensor wire back here, try to pull it through over here, and then just connect it. And then as for this hose, just go ahead and reconnect it again. And then last of all, we can just go ahead and tighten up this clamp. So these are the full install of the Burger Tuning intakes. If you guys want to get these intakes, they're from Burger Tuning, link down below. And if you guys have enjoyed this video and found it helpful, make sure to smash that like button. Without further ado, guys, I'll see you on the next one.